Hello. Here we are again. Woodstock
Hi.
on the couch. Oh my.
I still like that title.
I still like that. Welcome. You too can join us. We have a special guest today.
We do.
Yes, we do. Tommy Prince Jr.
Hey, come on over here.
Yeah, right
Look,
on.
come
Tommy
say hi.
Prince Jr. How are you, my friend?
Doing fine, and thank you for having me.
Good. We have a little conversation with Tommy in a little bit.
Okay.
But yes, so we'll have Tommy.
We'll see you in just a few minutes.
See you in a few minutes, Tommy. All
Thanks,
right,
Tommy.
right on. Okay, so today we are excited to come from Ottawa.
We are.
We had a wonderful time. We had the pleasure of meeting the minister of Veterans Affairs.
Yes.
Seamus Reagan.
Honorable Seamus.
Honorable
O'Regan.
Sheikh. Oh my, wonderful fellow.
Yes.
Great guy, solid.
Solid.
And who can forget Walter? Oh my.
They
oh
kept
my.
calling him Uncle Walt.
Uncle Walter. Who can forget the deputy minister, Uncle Walter, right? But no, it was around center in the business of homelessness and veterans' needs. And Winnipeg, here's it. I'll tell you what
Okay.
it is. The federal government plainly stated that it's $7.2 billion annually it costs for homelessness in Canada.
Yep.
They don't want to spend that money anymore. What they want to do is to spend less than that. And in
Right.
fact, spending less is actually beneficial to a lot of folks because now they'll really get to put people in homes, veterans into homes, and literally save taxpayers money. I like that.
That's a great idea.
All the services being offered in exchange for a home. Wow. Wow.
It's about time.
But something else happened.
What?
Did we do?
What else did we do?
We were part of the round table. And,
Yes.
And what happened with the round table?
So you got to present your big idea
Oh my.
about the name change.
The name change.
Yeah. Tell them about it.
As an advocate for the Recycle Day name change in Winnipeg, Manitoba, we had a 45% participation rate
In the
in the recycling program. And ever since the name change, I think we're up to about 95% participation rate. There's a powerful...
So you changed it
there's
from
garbage
Garbage
day
Day,
to more recycling
Clean
day.
Day, Recycle Day. So that's why we
Recycle
hear
Day.
Recycle Day.
That's what you hear recycle all about.
Yeah.
That was because of me. I'd worked closely with Mike Pactacan and God Steve at the time. God bless Councillor Harvey. He directed the show and showed me what to do, and we got it done. Today we're better off.
Right.
So my idea for homelessness, instead of us telling people that they're homeless, which is a negative word, why don't we say that they're in transition, meaning that they're at this stage in their life and at one point, pretty soon, they're going to be moving to another stage of their life.
Yes.
So for me, I was shocked at the response. And we had
I
an
know.
opportunity.
They were all like, well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Simple idea,
Yeah,
right? But
exactly.
very effective because the power of the name. And besides, you automatically encourage folks to get into the habit or the thought process or get the mind around moving from their current state to another.
Right.
And
Like
that's
as if
not a
it's
bad
not a
thing.
permanent thing.
No.
Like, because homelessness doesn't have to be a permanent thing.
It's never intended to be a
No,
permanent thing.
no.
But one of the things that we learned from it as well is that there are too many people who have right now in Winnipeg, Manitoba, it's a business for them, and this is true across Canada.
What do you mean by it's a business for them?
Well, if you're making $200,000-$300,000 as executive director of any homeless facility, I could
Yeah.
do well with $200,000-$300,000 in terms of making sure that people are not only fed but have a roof over their head. And one of the most disturbing part of it that came out of that was the fact that we met up with a veteran and expressed to us some concern, and we'll hear more from Tommy Prince Jr. as to some of the needs are. But that our goodly mayor, Brian Bowman, I want to talk to you. You're a First Nation advocate. How is it that, and it's something you may have to answer on the electoral debate stage, Homes for homeless. Is it homes for veterans?
Homes for Heroes.
Homes for Heroes. Homes for Heroes came to Winnipeg, Manitoba. They were looking for a piece of land from the city to build tiny homes. Everybody know about tiny homes these days. And they asked the city to find tiny homes for them.
No, not the homes for them.
Oh,
a piece of land.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, my.
They were going to build them, facilitate it, do everything. All they had to do was have the land.
Can't believe it. And I thought I didn't hear correctly until the fellow David spoke to David, the president, and he says, no, he was here, and we were supposed to look
But what
around.
happened when he was here?
Brian Bowman and the city of Winnipeg did not accommodate the fellow in finding a piece of land so that they can build tiny homes to put people in, the veterans in, or just homeless folks, for the purpose of taking them off the street. So we have a mayor, and we have a city councils, and we have all of these bureaucrats around the place, and they're happy to give 40 million and 20 million to 2.8 million or $1 million to street out party. Well, you know what, Mr. Bowman? I would rather you give $0 to the True North Foundation and give the same $1.5 million to Heroes for Homes?
Homes for Heroes.
For Heroes, with respect to making sure we find homes for them. So shame on you, Mr. Bowman. Shame on you for doing that. And
All they had to do was come up with the land, and they gave the foundation, Homes for Heroes Foundation, a hard time. They kept sending them and telling them to make phone calls and do this, and no one was willing to take up the mantle at the city to help to get this done.
And that's a shame.
Amazing.
That's a shame. And that needs to be addressed. And Mr. Bowman, you better be ready to answer that question. And please don't call me any names when I ask you that publicly, okay? We know what happened to the last politician that calls me names, okay? So you got to answer that question.
He's not on the stage anymore.
He's not on the stage anymore. He's retired in Salt Spring Island, BC. Good for him.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring Mr. Tommy Prince Jr.
He'll be in with
He'll be in with it here now, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about his situation and shares a little bit of history about his dad and his fight for homes for veterans.
I'm excited to. I'm excited to hear from him.
Yeah, me too. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Tommy Prince Jr. Come on over here, my friend.
Thanks.
Yeah, come on over here, please. Have a seat, my man. Welcome to Woodstock on the couch.
It's a pleasure to be here, sir.
Right on. Thanks for coming, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. It is truly an honor to have met you, and it's truly an honor to sit across from you. Your dad have served this country well, and Tommy Prince Jr., I want to say welcome to Woodstock on the couch.
Well, thank you for having me, sir, and it's a pleasure to be here. I would be honored on speaking on behalf of all veterans, not only my father.
Okay.
And I see that it is a need. That what you are proposing, putting together and trying to make go forward, there is definitely a need for it.
Good. Yes, it was indeed a pleasure. So you tell us a little about what your story and what you have seen your father gone through. Tommy Prince himself, Sergeant Tommy Prince.
It was back in 69, I believe, when I first met him. He was living at the old National Hotel on Main Street.
Okay.
He worked the odd few jobs here and there. He worked as a casual laborer for Winnipeg Help Out. Back then he was only making $1.25 an hour.
Oh my.
I don't really know where he got the money to pay for his hotel room, his food, and his clothing. I do know that the Army gave him a very minimum pension.
Yes.
Which the Army does do. The pensions that veterans receive are very minimal.
Yes.
barely enough to pay your rent, put food on the table, buy your clothing, and to pay your bills. It's very minimized. Their pensions are very minimized.
Yes.
I do believe they receive somewhere in the sum of $800,
Okay.
which is not enough
Nothing. It's
for
nothing.
anyone to live on.
Yes.
Other than that, my father was a kind, loving man. He worked hard, loved his family.
Yes.
We used to go and visit my mother, every once, twice a month, and then we go and see my grandmother out in Broken Head.
Okay.
So he did take time to visit family.
Okay. Good. Good. So what you shared something with me earlier, and for the viewers, I'd like you to share it with the viewers, because I think it's very real, and I really appreciate you coming here to try and share this with us. But I think people need to know this. So if you don't mind, in honor and respect of your dad, I'd like you to share with us and the audience what happened to your dad and how you saw your dad at the final stage.
Okay, at the beginning of the year of 2018, every time I turned on the radio or TV or picked up the newspaper, all I seen was another veteran has taken his or her life
Yes.
due to lack of medical help,
Yes.
the situations that they are put into,
Yes.
no home. And I took it upon myself to write a couple of letters.
Good.
One to the Honorable Seamus O'Regan,
Right
Veterans Affairs of Canada.
on. Yes.
I have that letter here today, and I've written the same letter to Honorable Janice Philman.
Yes.
I have both letters here with me today.
We'll be honored to take those forward for you, because we do have a direct contact to them, to both individuals.
Okay, sir. I appreciate that. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to read a little bit of what I've written here.
Sure.
I had, it's called Letter of Appeal for Assistance. Family of Sergeant Tommy Prince.
Yes.
In my opinion, as a government and as people, we are failing our veterans of today. Many of our men and women have returned from missions and have been marginalized by society as a broken soldier. A few have the ability to lean on a strong family, but many find themselves homeless and on the fringe of society that they volunteer to protect. We have the duty to respond to this crisis at all levels. I watched my own father, Sergeant Tommy Prince, return from Korea to a country that failed him. His own battles with post-traumatic stress led to his alcoholism and substance abuse. The breaking of our family and him dying homeless on the streets of Winnipeg. There has been improvement of late, but we also have a gap generation of those who served post-Korea to the end of the Cold War, who are homeless and without help across the country. They are isolated due to the fact that no Afghanistan happened on their watch, so the eyes of the country and the world did not see their trauma as they stood post. I don't understand how we can put I don't understand how we can't put veteran houses in all our cities. A place for a warm meal, a hot shower, and a bed. A place where counseling can start the healing. A place where a soldier can regain his pride and talk to fellow soldiers who can relate to the feeling only servicemen and women have. Many buildings in many cities are vacant and waiting these old guard. Home could crowdsource funds once staff was in place. Soldiers need something to fight for. I see far too many fall in their lives because they have nothing, my father included. I am not a man of great means, but I have pride. Pride in who my father was, pride in the Prince name. Pride in the name is often enough reason to fight for a soldier to fight on.
Well,
I am going to sign this letter for the Honorable Seamus O'Regan and one for the Honorable Janice Philman, and you could pass them forward.
I certainly will, with honor. With honor.
I've also took this letter to MLA Falcon Robert Ouellette.
MP. He's the MP. Yes.
And I did get a letter back from him,
Yes.
and I am holding it here.
Yes.
And you could also take this letter forward with the other ones, sir.
In support. I certainly will.
I'll
Thank
do
you.
the signing, and I
Yes.
will hand them over to you.
Thank you. And this is what we're talking about in that the money is available. Ladies and gentlemen, people in Winnipeg, this election you're going to go out and you're going to select a mayor. And my sincere wish is that you find one like myself to give your vote to, who is going to not only talk about the issue but physically do something about it. The federal government made it abundantly clear that the money is available to provide homes and support for everybody in Canada and everybody in Winnipeg. There is no excuse. Under my watch as mayor, if I'm so elected, I will end homelessness. I will end the business of us finding a roof over our head, because the resources are there. It's cheaper. It saved the city. And the worst part is the city is aware of the fact that they would have saved about $1.5 million, $1.5 million worth of savings annually had they listened to and providing homes and services for people who are homeless. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Take
well
it
welcome.
forward.
I certainly will. Thank you. And we will continue to push for this. And I am all about action. Talk is cheap. And you know, one of the things that gets me is the fact that a lot of people are talking about this issue. Very few people are doing anything about it. So it is written and it is said, what you have done for the least among us, you have done for me. You know who said those words? Jesus Christ himself, God Almighty. Most people haven't read that part in the Bible. They skip it over. Because if they did, then they'd be happy. They'd be more than happy, okay, to do something for the ones that are on the lower end. Because what you have done for the least among us, you have done for me. So with honor, with pleasure, and with dignity and pride, I will take this forward, and you can rest assured that Seamus O'Regan's Honorable Seamus O'Regan and the Deputy Minister to Veterans Affairs, I'll send this email to them as soon as we finish this podcast.
I thank you very much, sir.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And thank you and your father for the service to this country. And by the way, you're an urban knight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am.
Yes, you're a knight. Good. You're an urban knight, ladies and gentlemen. All right, on. Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined again by my dear wife and co-host, my rock, my shield, my
Kathy Harris.
Kathy Harris, and everything.
You don't want to go around calling me your rock and shield.
Yeah, but thank you for your support over the years. But no, but what an experience! What an
I know.
experience!
And there's a lot to be said too, not knowing how much heart, how much sorrow, how much passion, how much emotion there is when you meet folks that have a story to tell, and you hear about the stories, but you don't actually meet the folks. But when you actually meet the folks, it
touches you.
it does. It does.
Touches you.
So
touches you.
well, anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that was quite
Yeah.
touching, and I am indeed pleased at the fact that he was able, Tommy Prince Jr. was able to come forward and
Yeah.
share this with us,
yeah, very much so.
because this is important.
It is.
It is important.
Do you know something for you to be aware of that I'm not sure if everyone is aware of? But there is a Veterans Emergency Fund. It's called the VEF. If you Google it or you look at call the government and ask for the VEF. If you're in need, you're a veteran, and you're in need of some money to pay off your rent or buy some food or something, by all means, you can apply to it, call them. Within 24 hours, they can get you the money. So just so that you know.
Awesome. Thank you. One of the things that is very troubling to me, because a life is a life in my book, and is the fact that Agape Table spends their total annual budget is $700,000 for staff, for food, etc., etc. 700,000. Shalom Mission, their annual budget is $10 million. Now, I knew going into Ottawa that I'm going to get a chance to speak to the Veterans Affairs Minister, Honorable Seamus O'Regan. And I know I'm going to be able to speak directly with him without fear of contradiction or fear of people telling you what to do. And I love that. So in my conversation with him, we talked about the business of homelessness.
The business.
The business of homelessness.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of folks and a bunch of organizations that seem to think that it's okay to convince the government that they're taking care of homeless folks, veterans and others. Meanwhile, they make big salaries. I think those days are coming to an end. And if elected, I would end any organization that serves the same amount of meals as Agape Table does. Your budget have got to be $700,000, not $10 million. And currently, right now, Shalom Mission serves the same amount of food as
Same amount of meals.
meals, almost, plus or minus. The same amount of meals as Agape Table. So their budget, given the fact that they have to house, put up some beds, I don't think the ability for them to put beds, give folks a night's sleep, can equate to another $9 million annually. I don't believe so. So for me, it's a matter of looking at the facts. And
by the way, this $10 million, where are they getting it from? Is it taxpayers' dollars?
well, everybody likes to use the homeless as a means to beg money.
So in most part, it is
and-
taxpayers' dollars?
Taxpayers as well as private funds, as well as, because everybody sympathizes with giving money to the homeless.
And any private funds to build anything or make anything is fine.
Yeah.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, if
whatever
they
you
were-
want to do.
And for me, I have a serious problem when the staff overhead is as high as Shalom Mission staff overhead is. And I am calling them out because I see what Agape Table does. I've been there and worked with volunteered, spent some time with them. We have gone there on Christmas concerts. We have spent some time with the folks there. And for me, that's the model that I'm going to ask the Deputy Minister, Walter, as well as the Honorable Minister, Seamus O'Regan, to look at as a model for Canada. So way to go, Agape Table. Way to go. Big thumbs up for all your efforts, for everything that you have done for people in needs. Agape Table, you get 2 thumbs up from me. Shalom Mission, you get 2 thumbs down from me, because the majority of your money is not spent on the people that needs it the most, and you cannot convince me it does. We need to find a way to hold these organizations accountable. And the money is available to provide homes and shelter and housing and support for everybody that is homeless. And we're going to use the transition, the word transitioners. So this is going to be a transitioning period for not only the individuals who were homeless or in transition, but also for the organization who need to transition out of the business of homeless.
Yes, it's not just the folks that need the business
No.
or need the services. It's the people who provide it too.
To provide it too.
Yep, yep.
Because you can't keep going, and your staff shouldn't be expanding in the name of supplying housing needs for transitioners. Not homeless anymore, but transitioners. And people who are transitioning, we got to find a way that if you are in that state this year, 2019 does not catch you in that state, because there's no reason to have folks living on the street, regardless of your addiction issues, regardless of your PTSD issues, regardless of whatever issues that you may suffer, or whatever issues that may overcome you. It's a stage in life that you're still a human being.
But not that you am.
Not that you am.
That's right.
That's a nice word. I like that. So you're not there forever. You're not staying in that spot. Our job here is to shine the light on the fact that there is hope, there is opportunity available to move from point A to point B and get you back on your feet. And that's what all the shelters should be doing. All the folks that are thinking about it. Back to this homeless thing, we are going to go on the street and we are going to be doing a petition. So you heard it correctly, Mr. Mayor Bowman. You heard it correctly, Mike Pactacan. We are going to get a petition going and get the folks on the street in the community to agree with us to give a little piece of the land at Sergeant Tommy Prince Veterans Park, because that piece of land, a part of it was used once for park, but it was also zone change to accommodate Flora Place.
Yeah.
So if they can do it for Flora Place, then there's a good chance we can do it for the veterans, give them a little hope and make it happen. So I like to buck the trend. I don't follow people namesake, and Mike Pactacan said it couldn't happen, and I don't believe in the can'ts. The land is there. The fellows are able to come and build. I see no reason why Mayor Bowman couldn't. It took me one day to find that spot. And the guys were here and spent 6 months going back and forth. What a waste of time that was. What a waste of time that was.
They could already be built.
We could have had tiny homes. We could have, Winnipeg, Manitoba could have had tiny homes for veterans. Instead, these fellows now are building in Edmonton and Calgary. Their homes being built in Edmonton and Calgary now, and shovel in the ground, and so we have missed out on it.
Hopefully, time. You know what, if we can get this done, folks, with your support, call your counselor and say, get this done, is be able to have it done and maybe built before the snow comes.
We hope, but you know what, let's hope. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for Tommy Prince Jr. to join us, and thanks
Yes,
again to my co-host, Kathy Harris.
Thank you for inviting me, Mr.
yes.
Don Woodstock.
Yes, from Mayor. Yes.
For Mayor.
Yeah. So there you have it, and join us next time right here, Woodstock on the Couch. You too can be a part of this conversation. What issue would you want us to talk about in this election?
Or, hey, come and sit. You know what?
Come
I
sit.
don't mind.
Hey.
Come sit where I'm sitting. Have a talk
Come
with Don.
sit and join us, and let's bring the issues out. Whether it be transportation issue, whether it be infrastructure issues, Woodstock on the Couch is not going to
Censor you.
Censor you. Woodstock on the Couch is going to bring issues to the folks, and we'll do a weekly. So join us weekly. We're going to do a weekly podcast.
Every Thursday we'll release a new podcast.
Every Thursday until election, you will see a podcast about the issues that are affecting Winnipeggers right here. So join us. You can call 204-880-1564 or Woodstock for Mayor at gmail.com.
Woodstock number 4.
Number
Mayor.
4, Mayor. Or
.ca.
we just launched our website.
We did today.
So you can go on the website and you can check it out. You can go to
www.woodstock4mayor.ca.
Yeah.
Yay.
And remember, what you have done for the least among us, among you, you have done for me. Those are not my words. Those are the words of God Almighty Himself. So whatever you do for the least among you, you do unto me. Those were God's words when He was on earth. So we're going to do whatever we can. Peace. Always.
Peace.
Peace. Until next time. Walk good, they say.
Walk good.
Walk
okay.
good.
Take care.